Living in a Dream, 28-Day Binge. Yo, what's up? It's Someone That's Someone, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report was sent in by Luke. The drugs used: Dextromethorphan, Chlorpheniramine, Dimenhydrinate, Diphenhydramine, Clonazepam, and Buspirone. The route administration: orally. Gender: male. First prior experience, he notes: I have experience with DXM, Molly, pure crystal, ecstasy, cocaine, meth, PCP, weed, LSD, K2, every benzo, mostly every ADHD med, shrooms, codeine, Vicodin, Oxycontin, and much more. LOL. And the setting: mainly at home. Okay, so welcome to quite the report today. A binge experience that lasted pretty much a whole month. This is one of the most powerful ones we covered yet, and one that provides a lot of insight. We get a good look at what DXM and over-the-counter abuse can look like, how it can start, how it can progress, some of the risk of it, but probably the biggest thing is how easy it can be. Now, everyone's first choice when it comes to drug use most likely isn't going to be choosing to overdose on over-the-counter substances. Some might have that preference, but majority I say don't. Which Luke notes a lot of experience prior to over-the-counters, and that he was addicted. But drug testing from his mom pretty much stopped that, and this shows what some may choose to do instead. DXM and over-the-counters can be a common alternative for those going through drug testing, as your standard drug test won't cover it. And this report shows how you don't even necessarily need money to support this kind of abuse. Often these medicines are out and about in stores, leaving them a chance to be stolen, which Luke took part in here, and he was so far gone he didn't even realize it at times. Also, these medicines tend to be so common that they're in most households already, which they can have a practical usage, but this makes things that much more easy. And with the increasing awareness of it, I'm sure it isn't a problem that it will be going away anytime soon. But I'm sure you'll enjoy this one, so without further ado, let's dive right into this. A little bit of background. I am recovering from a year and a half of heavy drug abuse with many substances. I still drink a little occasionally, but I am usually sober. While I was active in my addiction, there was a chunk of about a month where I was getting drug tested about every 3 days or so, and I had to resort to over-the-counters. Being an addict, I use DXM every day and combine DPH with it sometimes. So here's a report on my binge with detailed accounts of some of the highlights. So here goes nothing. I in no way condone the use of over-the-counters, and I don't suggest anyone try them, but if you really want to, I would take major precautions. My story starts in June 2019. It was around 24 hours of being sober against my will when I stumbled across a video by Someone That's Someone detailing someone's report of a DXM trip. I looked into it more and got an idea of what it can do. Being the addict I am, I instantly walked over to the Walmart a street over from mine, which is probably one of the main reasons I ended up getting so much DXM during this time. And I stole 4 bottles of Robitussin. As I was walking home, I was trying to do some research, but was too lazy to look into it too much, which I would later regret. That evening, I drank about a third of the first bottle. I waited about 20 minutes and was feeling nothing, so I decided to just drink the rest. After about 20 more minutes, I did not feel anything still, so I decided to watch some Netflix. I was watching Parks and Rec, and I honestly don't know how much time had passed, but I remember looking up from the TV eventually and noticing a star in the sky out my window. I got so interested in the star for some reason. I was looking at it for about 30 minutes and snapped out of it when I felt a drop of water on my arm. I realized I was crying, but I didn't know why. I started to get really emotional, and I called my now ex-girlfriend. She picked up and knew from the jump I was fucked up, but being as cool as she was, she kept talking to me. I don't remember what we were talking about, but I remember feeling so open and warm. After that is a blur, but the next morning I looked back at the text, and whatever we were conversing about ended up in her telling me she loved me. So I instantly associated that with the DXM. The next 3 days, I did the same thing every day, drinking a whole bottle in the afternoon and calling people and talking for hours. When I ran out of cough syrup the first time, I remember feeling an uncomfortable urge to go and get some more. So I did. I went to the store and stole 4 more. I was in love with DXM. The next 3 days were nothing notable, but on the 4th, I had my first bad trip. Of course, The last bottle I decided to drink of the 4 was Robitussin with guaifenesin. I drank the whole bottle and thought nothing of it. The come up came quickly, but soon took a turn for the worst. Me being so dissociated, I decided it would be best to go sleep in my mom's bed. Well, the next thing I remember, I'm waking up in a puddle of shit. For about a minute, I considered the fact that I should probably quit, but quickly decided that I would not quit until I had to. At this point, I had been taking about 800 milligrams of DXM for the past 8 days. It was at the point where, when I would wake up and feel like I was still dreaming, I would unconsciously walk to Walmart and steal some more. This kept going for about 5 more days. While looking around at the allergy relief section at the store on the 13th day, I would place my eyes on something that would turn out to scar me permanently, both physically and mentally. I stumbled across triple C's. I would get the purple package, which had the most DXM to my knowledge, but also had another ingredient of which I don't remember the name of, but is very dangerous in even medium doses. I would take about a pack a day, which resulted in much more clusterfucks of highs with very blurry mind states. At about day 20, I had lost touch with reality almost completely. I didn't know I was getting high, I just assumed this was normal life. My resting heart rate was about 130. I know this because of a doctor checkup at about day 19. I started having clear, real hallucinations, both auditory and visual. Not letting this stop me, I was chasing a more intense high. Still watching this channel and others, I came across some videos about DPH. I found a full bottle of Dramamine in my medicine cabinet and decided to down every pill in it, which added up to 930 milligrams, along with 840 milligrams of DXM. At about the 3-hour mark, I noticed intense sensations down my spine and in my forehead. I started to see giant spiders that looked almost holographic, climbing around my room and on my arms. I started to see what looked like bug shapes bulging out of my skin, making me truly believe I had bugs underneath. I started hearing voices of my friends, and I would look to see nothing. This lasted about 3 hours until I started to actually see my friends along with their voices. Sometimes they would have voices that didn't belong to them, but it seemed perfectly normal to me. At one point my mom walked in and asked who I was talking to, but I told her it was just my friends on an Xbox party. She believed me easily and left me alone. I kept with this combo of DPH and DXM for 2 more days. At day 24, I was starting to go blind in my left eye. I was taking about 500 milligrams DXM twice a day, but decided to lay off the DPH. At this point, I was vaguely able to remember that I was taking some sort of drug. I was so out of it that I forgot about my drug test I had, and I decided to take 18 milligrams of Clonazepam, and 5 milligrams of Buspar, along with 1200 milligrams of DXM. All I can remember this day was at one point, I found myself falling down an infinite void in my room for what felt like 2 days. Looking back at it, it was probably around 2 days, because the next thing I knew, I woke up 3 days later. At about day 28, I took my last heroic dose of DXM. I drank a bottle and a half of Delsum and a pack of triple C's, plus like 2 gel caps I found in my mom's drawer. For some reason, this was the most clear-headed I felt during this entire binge. About 1 hour into it, I remember seeing a bright light in my room. It was about 5 a.m., so it was still dark outside, and the only light in my room was my dimmed-out monitor playing Kid Cudi. The light started taking up my whole field of vision. For lack of better words, I saw a bunch of entities coming at me and screaming high-pitched noises. The noises were so sharp, I thought they would pierce my eardrums. But just about when I thought I couldn't take anymore, the middle entity clapped, causing the noise to stop. They were speaking, not in English, but for some reason, I understood them so clearly. They told me that I had more to do, and if I continued the path I was going, I wouldn't last long. They told me that I'm special, and that I'm able to understand things in a different way than most people. I was in so much peace. After that, I don't remember much until waking up the next day. I don't know if it was just a coincidence or what, but that day, my mom decided to stop drug testing me. I felt a relief, and remembering my experience the day before, I decided to never touch DXM again. I am religious, and this is all just symptoms of the psychosis-like state I pushed myself in for that month. But I like to believe that it happened for a reason, and that something greater was watching over me. Luke.